still in talks as to what we're going to do, which direction we're going to go into. So there hasn't been anything finalized for Triple G as far as his next opponent, TV network, or the date.
What would be best for him? Just a few details, like would you guys like a per fight basis thing, because he is up there in age and has a per fight.
He's 36 years old. Yeah. He won his last 2 fights against Canelo. Somehow he didn't get the last decision, and somehow the judges figured out a way to have it a draw the first time around. But you know, what can you do? It's we feel he won both fights. 90% of the media, boxing fans, they all feel that he won his 2 fights. So you know, he's the people's champion. You know, 1 point. You know, the 12th round was clearly a Triple G fight. We don't want to dwell on it, but it was a clearly Triple G fight. If one out of the 2 judges that scored it for Canelo would have scored it for Triple G, he would have kept his titles. But again, I think he's more popular now, where the fans, you know, feel that he won the fights, and you know, we're just figuring out the best situation for his fight for next year.
Would you like that situation to be something where it lets him possibly explore a 3rd fight with Canelo, or
sure. Look, it was the biggest fight. The 2 fights with Triple G and Canelo was the biggest fights for Canelo financially. It was his 2 biggest paydays. It was 2 biggest paydays for Triple G. We set the 3rd and 4th highest gate in boxing history for boxing. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Look, if we feel that Triple G won both the fights, there's no reason not to fight Canelo a 3rd time. I've said that Canelo actually needs the 3rd fight to prove to his fans that he would win a fight without the judges scoring. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. That would be one of the priorities on our side. But, you know, Triple G doesn't have to prove anything to Canelo, because we felt he won both times. So, if that fight happens, I think it'd be great. I think the fans would like to see it again. At 36 years old, people are kind of making it sound like he's about to retire. And look, Vladimir Klitschko fought until he was 40, 41. Floyd was fighting until he was 40. Like, if you scored that last round for Triple G, then he still has all of his titles. He would have beaten Canelo twice in a row. He beat Danny Jacobs. He knocked Danny down in the fight last year. And you know, it's always how you're going to look at it. You know, and to me, Triple G is undefeated. Triple G has fought the 2 best guys in his division, and there's still a lot more to prove in Triple G's career.
Of course, not looking too far ahead, but if that fight had to take place at 168, as you know, Canelo's moving up to 168.
Well, he's moving up to fight a guy that he's selected to fight at 168. I doubt he stays at 68, but if he does, you know, then that's great for him. I don't think he's going to abandon 160 pounds. He kept telling everyone the reason why he didn't fight Triple G originally when the WBC ordered it was because he wasn't a 160 pounder. So I don't see him staying at 168, but it's not my decision. That's you know, Canelo and Chepo and Eddie and the guys at Golden Boy. They'll figure out what's best for him. But we made a lot of concessions before to get Canelo in the ring, and you know, we'll see what happens if a 3rd fight is possible for next year.
Yeah. Daniel Jacobs said after his win, he said he's in the driver's seat. How do you feel about that? If you guys were to explore a rematch with Daniel Jacobs himself,
I don't know if Danny, if that fight makes sense right away. I mean, Triple G beat him once already. You know, Danny didn't follow the rules of the IBF. He had the advantage of skipping that 2nd day weigh-in. So, you know, when you have a situation like that, that clearly was they didn't do that 2nd day weigh-in because he was much heavier than the 170-pound limit. And he did. You know, I understand why he did it. He did that to get an advantage. But you know, the contract was signed for all the titles. The rules meeting was for all the titles, and then he didn't show up. So you know, look, Danny had a great performance against Derevyanchenko. He's the IBF world champion now, which is a little bit ironic because he broke the IBF rules last year. Then he was fighting for their title. But you know, we wish Danny all the best. Like I said, he put on a great performance. He got the decision, won the title, and now he's a champion. So I'm sure he's looking at the biggest fights for his career as well.
How do you feel about the WBC's recent mandated matchups? One of them in particular was Golovkin versus Charlo and the winner against Canelo. How do you feel about those matchups that they mandated?
We had petitioned the WBC because every WBC judge that I spoke to at the convention said they had Triple G winning, or you know, worst case scenario being a draw. So I petitioned the WBC, order the immediate rematch. So let's do this fight again. They said they were getting pressure from Charlo. So Charlo has a fight already scheduled now against William Monroe Jr. Triple G stopped him in the 5th round, and so Charlo's doing his thing, and it's my job to do to make the best fight for Triple G on the television network that makes the most sense for him. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah,
there's some headlines out there misleading saying that I said Triple G is not going to fight Charlo. So everyone's saying, well, why wouldn't he fight Charlo? Just right now, Charlo has a fight, and right now it doesn't make sense. But that doesn't mean that he's never going to fight Charlo. Charlo, look, we have respect for Charlo. He's doing a great job. He's out there promoting his career. He's getting the exposure. He's active on social media. So Charlo's doing what he needs to do to position himself to get the big fights. You know, a lot of guys don't do that, and then they can't be involved in a big promotion.
Yeah, and if you've heard, it looks like Mayweather might make some kind of comeback.
Sure.
What would you make of that? Just Mayweather coming back to fighting?
Floyd controls the biggest financial. What should I say? He generates the most financial revenue in boxing with his fight with Manny, with his fight with McGregor. You know, we'll see how much longer the fans go with that. But Floyd, anywhere he fights, it's always a big story when Floyd gets in the ring. So, you know, if he wants to come back, we wish him all the best. You know, Floyd puts on huge events. So if I could see, because he's still able to generate so much money, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and fights again.
Speaking of generating money, do you think that Golovkin'S deal would it be something along the lines of what Canelo got, something record-breaking, just jaw-dropping numbers? Or
we're happy with the deal that Canelo got. We're happy for Canelo for that deal. Golden Boy, you know, they got a platform for other shows. So look, whenever you can bring money into boxing like that, it's a great thing. So we're gonna work on doing a deal as well for Triple G to get also other slots in addition to the Triple G fights. He's been gone. He was in Kazakhstan for 3 weeks, and he was in Germany for a little while. So now he's back. He just got back to LA. I'm gonna sit down and talk to him and see what he wants to do.
His entire career was on HBO. If you've heard, HBO is bowing out. How do you take that time? You've had a great relationship with HBO.
I think HBO is a tremendous platform. They made Triple G a star. His entire career wasn't on HBO, but over here in the States, since September 2012, since he made his HBO debut, every fight's been on HBO. In fact, we even had to go to Monte Carlo, which I think there were 2 fights in Monte Carlo that HBO didn't show. But then after they got that huge backlash of not showing the Triple G fights, then they made sure to show every fight. And look, Triple G went from being an unknown commodity over here in the States to being one of the most popular champions over here. He sells out Madison Square Garden, sold out twice, which is interesting. We're happy that Canelo is finally fighting at Madison Square Garden. He refused to fight Triple G at Madison Square Garden. I don't know if he felt more comfortable with the judges in Nevada, but it certainly seemed like he started out with a lead. You know, for whatever the atmosphere was in Nevada, it just always, you know, first fight Triple G won, you got a draw. Second fight Triple G won, or worst case scenario, you got a draw. Canelo had 2 judges on his side, but we're happy that Canelo's fighting at the Garden. Now, if there's a third fight, thered be no excuse for Canelo not to fight at Madison Square Garden, because before, like I said, he refused to fight Triple G.
We did change the
at the Garden, but so you know, he's got a great deal. I think Canelo's got a tremendous future. He's only 28 years old, and whether we feel Triple G won the fights, Canelo still put on a great performance, especially the second fight. He really upped his game, put on more pressure, and so you got to give respect to Canelo. And if there is a third fight, I still think that's you know, that's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. With the first 2 fights the way they went, the second fight being even more exciting, I think the third fight, you know, could potentially be even more exciting than the second fight.
You said there was a new definitely. You said there was a new.
How are you?
Thank you for having me on the card.
Love to have you on the show.
Yes, sir. Let her put on the show.
What are you gonna do, Devin? Fight time.
I just plan on keeping my knockout streak going.
Yeah. That's what Tom likes. Tom likes knockouts.
We like knockouts.
Yeah.
Well, so far I got all knockouts, so let's keep it up.
Dragon's going to be on the show tomorrow night.
Yeah. Tom, you said there was a new player involved, possibly to help.
Yeah, we've gotten interest. Look, we've gotten interest, a lot of interest from DAZN, a lot of interest from ESPN. There's a new platform that really likes Triple G, likes what he stands for. Triple G is a great ambassador for the sport of boxing. He's always followed the championship rules. He's never failed any of the drug tests, even though he's been tested many times. And you know, whether he's in Mexico, whether he's in Kazakhstan, whether he's in Monte Carlo, whether he's in the UK, whether he's in China when we were over there for a convention, he's got fans all over the world. And you know, the sponsors, TV platforms, they recognize that, and they recognize that he's a global figure. So again, we're going to look to see what's the best situation for him, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, last thing, and of course, Abel Sanchez, when a fighter loses, usually the trainer takes the heat. He took a little bit of heat for the loss of Canelo, the rematch.
Well, if we don't feel that Triple G lost, why would he take the heat? We felt that he won.
The criticism.
Harold Letterman had it 8-4. That's exactly how we scored it. You know, everyone said, Al Bernstein, Dan Raphael said, you know, there's no way that Triple G lost that last round. So look, you know, if we felt that he won the fight, then there's really no criticism that's warranted. Naturally, any fighter can do better. Look, Canelo was fading badly in those last 4 rounds. You know, Triple G had him hurt in the 10th and the 11th round. Had hit him with those 2 huge uppercuts in that 12th round. I don't know how you don't score that 12th round for him. But you know, again, I'm going to defend Abel because look at where he brought Triple G. He was on a 23 knockout streak, and just because it was a close fight in the second fight with Canelo, I don't think there should be any criticism on Abel at all.
Yeah.